The Flood will be returning to Halo, to some extent anyway. The new Halo Wars 2 expansion was announced during Xbox Daily on June 12th, Monday. A very creepy but charming trailer dropped as well, which was crafted by Blur, and it reintroduced us to the Flood. Now this is canon, which makes it even more exciting because it has some big implications for the future of Halo for Halo 6. Today we're going to be talking about some of that. We're going to be talking about the very details of how much this cost, when to get it, and of course all the stuff that comes with it, and tons of questions that were answered over on the official Halo Waypoint update. So let's get into it. One of the spokesmen at Xbox Daily on Monday said the word contain. The Banished are trying to contain the Flood. Very interesting word. Of course, this has huge implications for Halo 6. Perhaps the Flood escapes the Banished, escapes the Ark, and begins to infect the galaxy once again. Very, very cool stuff to talk about, which I will talk about later in another video. I'll save that for another time. But Awakening the Nightmare, this DLC is a full-on expansion, guys. This isn't just a couple cool things. This is the real deal here. Of course, this is going to include a full campaign following the Banished and the Flood, their containing of the Flood, and perhaps their survival too, of course. 2 multiplayer leaders as well in this big DLC expansion, which includes Jerome 092 of Red Team and Arbiter Reaper Morimi, which in the canon is still dead, by the way, just like Sergeant Johnson DLC. 2 new multiplayer maps and Terminus Firefight, a new cooperative mode where players have to build armies, bases, and defenses, and there's a lot of cool stuff there. It was actually played on the E3 show floor, so very cool stuff. And in this mode, you have to fight and survive with your friends of oncoming waves and enemy forces. It will drop this fall 2017 for $19.99 on Xbox One and Windows 10. There are also some very great questions that 343 Industries decided to answer on the Halo community update, so let's get into that. The first question is Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare available to play at E3? Answer: E3 will feature an exclusive first look at the new mode from Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare called Terminus Firefight, a unique game mode where players build bases and armies to defend against waves of enemy forces. So maybe, perhaps, we will get some gameplay if 343 doesn't supply that to us anyway officially. Question: when will Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare be released? Fall 2017. Question: how much will Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare cost? $20. Question: does Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare come with the Season Pass? Will it be a purchasable standalone? No, Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare is a separate expansion for Halo Wars 2 and is not a part of the Season Pass. This will of course require Halo Wars 2, the base game, to play. Question: the Season Pass mentions additional campaign missions. Is that the same thing as Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare? Answer: no, Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare is a separate full expansion for Halo Wars 2. Question: do I have to own Halo Wars 2 to play this DLC? And of course the answer is yes. Question: did Creative Assembly have a hand in working on the expansion? Yes, they of course have developed in partnership with Creative Assembly and 343 Industries. Question: will Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare or Halo Wars 2 receive a patch to support HDR? Both Halo Wars 2, the DLC, and Halo Wars 2 support HDR, which was added during the Sergeant Johnson DLC in May. And by the way, I don't think they mention it, but there's also a 4K update coming later this year. Question: when do the events of Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare take place? Answer: the events of Halo Wars 2, the DLC, take place just a few months after the end of the events in Halo Wars 2. The war for control of the Ark continues to rage on, and the Banished will do anything to regain the upper hand over Captain Cutter and the brave troops on the board of the UNSC Spirit of Fire. The willingness to risk it all, however, can have serious consequences in a place as ancient and as dangerous as the Ark. Very cool stuff. Again, I have a lot to say about this specific topic and this conversation right here, but I will save that for another video. Question: how did the Flood manage to get to the Ark? During the events of Halo 3, the Flood took control of High Charity, the planet-sized satellite in the capital city of the Covenant. The Flood crashed the High Charity on the Ark in an effort to thwart its ability to fire and rebuild the Halo rings. While most of the Flood threat was destroyed in the crash of High Charity and in the explosive end of Halo 3, even the smallest remaining spore of the Flood can take over the galaxy given some time. A very big implication right there, talking about the Flood and its massive return to Halo. Very cool stuff, very subtle, very subtle, but it seems that they might be implying that is the threat, at the very least the threat of what's happening here. And last question, will the Flood be playable? Simple answer, no. The Flood are an AI-controlled adversary in this DLC and will not be a playable faction. They also don't know if the Flood will ever be playable on Halo, but at least right now, the answer is no on that. Anyways, guys, what do you think of the Flood making a return to Halo? Do you think it is the right thing? Do you think this is the right time? And do you think that this is a satisfactory way of bringing the Flood to us? I personally, I think it is very great to see the Flood again. I'm so excited to see what 343 Industries and these studios are doing with the Flood this time around. We saw a unit actually called Abomination. It looked like it was a 3-story, 4-story unit, and it's just massive. It looks like some superpower unit, something to be very fearful of. And so this is very exciting. I'm super hyped to see what's next for the Halo series. Be sure to let me know your thoughts about all of this down in the comment section below, and do a hashtag Halo Club, because we gotta sit down and we gotta talk about this stuff for a couple hours. So please, hashtag Halo Club, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.